Hello, good morning, Brian Jennings, the man who would have been the movie critic. This channel exists to process my pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I am the reason that he canceled his film, The Movie Critic, last year, and after he set me up to be a movie star, and I burned him, right? He entered into a Faustian covenant to compel me to madness to blow my brains out. And now that he's failed, he's stolen my wisdom, right, and descended into palpable black magic evil to seek the destruction of my body with his mind, him and the cabal of degenerates that surround him. Right? So, right, how do I say that? Like, how can I say these things? Right? He'll always deny, right? Just so that, like, we're clear. He's never going to say, yeah, I'm a sick sorcerer, fuck that guy. Right? Right? Presupposing, right, that life has an intellectual origin, right, and taking one leap further and saying that you can use your mind, which is a piece of that divine intellectual origin, right, to create psychic bridges with people, right, to create a psychic connection with another person on the earth. Right? No one in their right mind would create a condition where they crawl all the way into someone's mind and thereby let them crawl all the way into their mind, right? And never expect to spend any real time with them, right? Never plan to make any real memories wherein they expect the condition to persist for 20 years. That is a diseased, pathological psychology. We each exist as psychic phantoms in the other's mind. Right? Therefore, right, his intention, right, for this entire campaign has been to overwhelm my mind and compel me to blow my brains out. And it's all in this novel. I've written a novelization of my experiences. And just so that we're all on the same page here, these people who make these, snide comments about my madness, right? This is 130,000 words, right? This is a 500-page manuscript, right? Doesn't work that way, right? As far as literature, right? If I wanted to write something in an insane rhapsody and an insane fervor, it would be something like "All work and no play make Jack a dull boy." Right? I am Jesus, etc., etc. Right? That's, right? Those are the writings of madmen. Right? Right? So, we're reading through the novel. I'm trying to put together the 59 stellations of the icosahedron. Right? And so I made the diagram. But unfortunately, it's too small. Here, I'll show you the diagram. All right, this is it on the page. All right. This is it on the poster board. Right? But the problem is that it's these little bitty triangles right in here, right? So I need to have it bigger. But I'll get there. I guess I'm just going to draw it by hand. Right, that's a template, right? We don't actually cut it out of that one. We use it as a reference to look at it, right? No cheating, drafting compass, straight edge, right? Each side of the triangle is subdivided into the golden mean, right? All line segments have 2 points that divide it into the golden mean. Right? So, we're reading through the novel, talking about the nature of reality, right? Right? Why do I have this channel? What am I talking about here? Right? I have this channel because, right, there is no other way to interpret it, right? There's no, unless he is unless he is really completely fucking insane. Right? That no one in their right mind would create this condition. Right? Therefore, right? He wants me to die. That's it. There's nothing else to interpret there. And now that he knows he can't overwhelm my mind, I live in perpetual anxiety that he's sent people to murder me that are going to break through this fucking door at any second. Right? Because he's mentally ill, right? Like that's like we're both mentally ill as a result of his campaign. Right? So, I'll pick up where I left off. Today I have done my best to appreciate being inside. Watching One Piece with another unfortunate staying here. I mentioned my intrigue, and he gave me 2 full Xanax bars. That was fucking clutch. Some days have passed. Sitting in Central Park after dark, I called Jake. Told him enough, for now. Said nothing on the Ouija board, but asked him for help, and he sent me $1,000. It allowed me to get a room in a ramshackle dump in Queens. The Center, it's called, populated by sad, older men. I arrived here last night, and have spent the day in great distress. Thinking on all of it, I am lost. I don't know where I belong or what I am supposed to do. My anxiety is hitting fever pitch. I have to know. I walked to Target, a 12-minute walk. I bought a sweatshirt to cover my shame, to cover the test, to hide my shame, and came back. I followed the instructions, and now have to wait 20 minutes. I'm going to write the entire time. I am more nervous than I have ever been. I've only had one sexual partner over the last 8 years. The thought of having to find her is so embarrassing. I was 3 years in, and she literally offered it to me on a silver platter. I couldn't say no. I want everyone to be happy. It happened that way one other time, 2 years earlier, at Clam in Chicago, 2017. A beautiful venue, Northerly Island. They let the hippies take over the park. The venue is right on the water, with behind the band being Chicago's iconic skyline. During the set break, I was walking nowhere fast, and a fairy emerged to my left. "What's up?" she said, which, in the moment, I saw as a hollow platitude, so I replied, "Have a great night," and she became bewildered and flustered. "So," she said, "you're not gonna talk to me?" And then, being on drugs, I felt bad. "Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. My name's Ethan. Nice to meet you." We shook hands and ended up somewhere secluded. And though it took me a couple hints, I am oblivious in all the ways that matter. Eventually, I got the hint when she said, "I'm just saying I can be that girl you met at Clam." I blushed and said, "Oh," and apologized about being awkward. She said she was too. But only when it's called for, I would say. I was glad to spend time with her, but when I asked her if she wanted to get closer and watch the show with me, she declined. I hate I made her feel self-conscious. She was very pretty and charming. It's easier to separate yourself from temptation when 15,000 people are all around you. I've had the shadow lurking over me all of these years. Perhaps on some level it is a catalyst that hearkened to my spiritual development, but it feels more like a curse. I can remember in Boulder I had a good friend also around 2017. He is a TIG welder and owns a high-end bicycle company, Baleen Titanium Cycles. He picked me up when I got my DUI. We all would hang out at this bar, and one day, completely ignorant of my demons, he cut right through me with his observation. "You behave as though you were ashamed of yourself." I don't resent him for being honest, but it fucking hurt. The weight, the density of his prescience. I know enough time has passed, I am afraid. Negative. I'm floored, my mind is running wild. I know I will be restless. I heard Alistair saying, I don't know, I think he might have gotten tested and he ain't got it. I'll buy another test in the morning to be sure. Another day passes. It was eventful. I awoke at a customary hour, bought another test, also negative, and I got pissed off again. I wrote a 4-page letter to Alistair and booked a taping. Though he knew, I heard him. He doesn't have it, he was just worried. He sounded relieved. In the studio, I had to explain to Elliot, the proprietor, being in the room. Now, he has been in the know since December, this being the first studio I submitted anything to Alistair through. I wanted to make sure I was at an appropriate height, wherein my courage matched my fury. So I took 2 hits of LSD and ate my last Xanax bar on departure. I was soaring in my rage, pointing to the box of the test, saying, "There it is, motherfucker! Satisfied?" I chided their tactics with vigor, letting them know there's nothing stopping anyone, least of all me, from employing similar means to similar ends, and inquired in the letter what my occult manipulation might yield, what awful secrets you, Alistair, are privy to that you want no one else to know. It was the only time I sat down in front of the camera, dividing my tirade with the bugs, exhaustion, decrying in the end my intention to bury that fucking production in savage reviews, ending with "just do nothing." I left reeling, still high as a kite. Elliot was encouraging. He could see the toll all of it has taken on me. It upset him, lamenting that he didn't know how to help, but that he would if he could. I appreciate him. We have become close by virtue of the business, but I call him friend, brother. I would guess he reciprocates. I started walking back and made it to the post office in Clinton Hill just before it closed. With the summer high, the sun had hours still to linger in the western sky. The neighborhood was as vibrant as could be. Hundreds of people shuffling to and fro. As I meandered, a bird appeared in my periphery. She appeared ill, so I stooped down and looked her in the eye. "Are you okay? Do you need me to carry you home?" She looked up at me, pouted, held her arms out and said, "Please." My heart broke immediately. I put my cigarette out and sat down next to her. "Mandy." She tells me she was trying to go to the park, but looked ill, clammy, feverish. Very pretty. Fairy type. I walked with her for a time. I was running hot from my taping. I talked about it. How he's coming around. She's interested. I'm now trying to get her to take me to L.A. I feel that Alistair wants me to come there and beat down every goddamn door at that fucking agency until I get satisfaction or arrested, or end up on TMZ, or all of the above, or maybe only the last 2. My birthday is coming up. If I can get to Clam in Colorado, I could probably find a group of people intrepid enough to go with me, because it will be memorable. I won't be able to get there, being devoid of resources, but it would work. Days pass. I know they received my letter, my tape. Alistair came first. He was nice enough, apologetic. I get it. I thought of Mandy and his occupation in my mind, and that moment made me salty. I told him, "You have no right to be in my head." To which he replied, I know, but you like her." To which I replied, "I don't know, I've been doing drugs." "Yes." When I told him I was trying to get her to bring me there, she came soon enough, offering her opinions in her customary way. It's a miracle he doesn't have AIDS. He's got this girl ready to leave the guy she's with and support him and bring him across the country. I forgive you. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what to call it. Arrogance? Nerve? To hold court in my mind for the sake of itself is bullshit. The highest violation. Knowing that they can call me, that we have the right to look each other in the eye. Whomever she is in relation to him, I cannot say. But she needs to do the apologizing in this formula, not me. Today marks a distinct departure in protocol. While communing with this high priestess witch character, I took writing all caps every page. I wonder if she saw and read it perfectly. Maybe not. The feeling more so. But her sight is broad. My curse upon her marks the pinnacle of my rage. A great, vast thought force. I am interested in reciprocity. She wants to be in my life in some way. I expect these things to occur. It's mentioned in the letter. This is for both of our absolutions. I don't want that force hanging over us both forever. I heard Alistair say, "This is the guy," but I don't know what he wants. I asked in the letter who she was to him after I heard her inquire what I was going to do. I told him I would counter my curse when they put her in front of me, never before. I read in an article that Alistair named the Dollars trilogy as the best trilogy. 3 movies I had already reviewed when in my obstinacy. It It took me a day or two, but I got it. He helped me see. I have to rewrite them. All my reviews are on my computer in Mississippi. I have all of $15. I'm going to spend the lowest amount I can buy, the lowest amount I can to buy the cheapest earbuds money can buy so I can watch the movies in the library. In my last letter, I asked him to forgive me, knowing I have no right to expect it. I said, "Can we not, motherfucker, just this one time do it my way?" I have reviewed the movies, and will spend all day typing them tomorrow, but they are upset with me. I heard his wife, Annabella, for the first time. She said, this guy really is a jackass." I was talking about her to a stranger. I hit some weed and started yakking. She has been very cruel. She is his daughter. I knew she was close to him. That was foolish. When I didn't want to see her, I was adamant. He came to me and I said, "Man, look, if you want to keep seeing her, that's your business. I don't want to see her if she's unwilling to meet my demands." A great silence, which said a lot. I knew she was close. But now in his frustration, he blurted it out. "She's my daughter." I do feel bad. I know she's not a bitch, but I thought she was one at first. Her flagrant disrespect compelled my ire, but I relented then, saying, "Okay, Alistair, we'll do it your way." Up until now, she has been subtly telling me she wanted my baby. Told me she was in love with me. It felt good. Now she's ice cold. I don't see it as a big deal. I should have kept my mouth shut. He's a nice guy who's already forgotten me as just some peculiar guy. But now she hates me and is seeing someone right now to spite me. She is overreacting. Alistair is sympathetic. He knows this isn't why I wrote. He says I can still play the role. She has been against it at times. I don't know. Everything's fucked up. It's very hard at times, being alone. I awoke this morning around 6 a.m. and took the train into Manhattan. I decided to go by a shelter. They said they give out free clothes in the Tribeca area. I got out at Times Square and started walking. Along the hour-and-a-half walk there, I smoked the last hit of my marijuana and thought of her. I told her, "I want you to love me again." She was very emotional, very upset. Said that I fucked up and began reducing me psychologically, which I loathe, as then as now. She knows all my secrets. I know hers too. Eventually, she said she did love me, that she was in love with me. She said she wanted me to get a blood test. So after waiting in line for free food because I needed to get there way earlier to get the clothes, I walked to the health department in Chelsea. Another hour back uptown. I threw my favorite shirt away because I cursed her in it, and I didn't want her psychic eye or my residual conspiring towards my illness. Everything negative. Today is my birthday. Rising and falling out of doors on the concrete. Couldn't make it to Clam. Money's bullshit. I have to be available for Alistair. The journalist is something worth suffering for. And if I can love his daughter, be loved, we obviously have much similarity as far as understanding goes. And that's even better. I thought after I felt her with me, perhaps her name is Karina, though I see now she loves music and enjoyed listening to it through my ears. Her name is Willow. I refuse to look her up. It detracts in some way. I know what I saw, which surpasses all photographs by default. In my letter which followed my tirade, I informed Alistair of my savage status, wherein, despite acknowledging I had no right to ask, sought forgiveness. I said, "No more. We need to embrace each other." That night, walking through the southeastern area of Central Park, she came, asking, "Are you okay?" To which I retort, "Fuck no." My posture and gait all lopsided from these miles, hobbling along. My metamorphosis nears completion. She lamented to her father my condition, saying that they had put me in this way. It was the first time I heard her say she was in love with me. He commented that the letter was written before I understood about the reviews, which is true. She also told me she loved me, lends me strength. That feeling is so alien to me. Ignites a great fire in me. I don't feel alone, even though I am. The river runs ever forward. I am often haunted by time's specter. It has been a day of shock, perhaps reconciliation, hopefully not contrition. Willow and I have been spending most days and nights together. though I am here and she is there. It is the alchemical marriage, a psychic crystal palace we are building. At times it feels special, the most interesting sacred space afforded through consciousness. Other times, when my psychology consumes me in deprecation and loathing, I resent that my faults are all threadbare. There is reciprocity. I read her thoughts as well, but she has the upper hand, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Her father seems to approve, telling Annabella he doesn't want to get in the way. Today marks the first day I spoke with Annabella, though she said nothing. I know she sees me as a threat. I have heard her say, "He will bring ruin upon our house. He's fucked up," and the like. I started writing to her, professing my sincere hope that she sees my heart, that I don't want anything but good things for everyone, and that I love Willow like I know you love Alistair and your family. A great force, a psychic pressure, consumed me in that moment. Her power was manifest to me. I felt almost overwhelmed, drowning in her love. I know that power can destroy as well. She seems to have relaxed, but I know she still does not trust me. She sees me as an arrogant jerk. I can't take it away from her completely, though I strive for magnanimity in all my thoughts and actions. I see why they're married. They are perfect for each other. He is blessed many times over. I typed these reviews all day. Some 12 pages, 15,000 words for the 3 films. I finished with just enough time. While writing my accompanying letter, a noticeable child support ass sat across from me with 5 books. I inquired if she intended to read all of them. She smiled, saying that she didn't know. I finished my letter at the post office. Included was my Lego clay, gifted to me at Mondegreen by another musician, guitar as well, who was selling them. He said, "You brought me a lot of joy with your playing earlier," and he gave me the figurine. I asked him if he was sure, as he would sell it for $50 easily, and he hesitated not at all, insisting I continue in my pursuits. I lamented to Willow how I regret upsetting her, professing my sincere love, and included clay for her, wanting to give it to her in person when I believed we would be meeting imminently. As a totem of my hope that we can bring each other the same joy, I was blessed to offer that friend whose name I may never know. I asked Alistair if I had humiliated myself enough, now that she hates me. I produced my bag of change and paid the postage with Susan B. Anthony dollars given to me busking last year. The letter landed in the outbound slot as the office was closing. Shuffling in my destination back the 2 blocks towards the library, my thoughts flashed to the birthing hips I conversed with before leaving. As I arrived, someone stopped me on the sidewalk. Another girl, younger, blonde, glasses, very pretty. She beckoned and I turned around. "Did you leave a water bottle in the post office?" As she asked me, I recognized her in line behind me. I was bewildered and replied, "No, thank you, that was not mine." "Did you follow me all the way here to ask that?" She nodded, very shy, asking, "Do you need money?" I went wide-eyed, saying, I wouldn't say no, in honest embarrassment. And she produced a $20 bill. It had been in her hand the entire time. She tried to dash away, to which I said, wait a minute. "What's your name?" "Hope," she says. "How did you know?" I asked. "My gait?" She looked up at me. The bag of change, all of it. I felt a strong empathy and kindness and loving nature. I asked her if she lived in the city. She said Brooklyn. I gave her a hug, offering assurances I'll make it right the next time we meet, and she departed. I felt Willow watching over me, and had a great guilt, thinking about that bitch in the library. I took it as a sign and did not go back in. I ended up in Woodside outside of a 7-Eleven across from the 7 train around 43rd. I sat on a milk crate and stood outside the door for a time. Not persistent, but expecting to beg when compelled. An older Asian lady came into the store and then was waiting in her vehicle. After maybe 1 minute, I asked if she could help me get something to eat. She inquired as to my state, judged my residence accordingly, and gave me $160, insisting I buy no smokes or booze. I agreed, though maybe my fingers were crossed. But I immediately went back to Queens and spent almost all, of the money on a bed for 3 nights. I am now sitting on the patio in the front where people carouse and smoke. and I feel loved by a magical witch. So I'll stop there for now. It's a novelization of my experiences with Quentin Tarantino. Willow is a complete fabrication. There is no daughter, right? Right? And he admitted that to me the same way that he revealed her to me, right? Right? That it was all, right? It was all a humiliation tactic. And he got what he wanted on some level. He debased me. Made me fall in love with a specter. Made me fall in love with a phantom. No one loves you. Right? You're a lonely loser. Right? And so again, right? This is how he sees me, right? Right? He sees me as some sick sacrifice to the movies. He says, oh, this is a sad, lonely guy. And when he dies, it won't matter. Right? And then no one has to know. Right? That there's an actor that in the world that I can't control his mind. Right? So, right? I moved to Colorado in 2016 and took a vow of celibacy. Right? Because there was a whisper of me having AIDS. That I thought, well, I'll be above it. That was my right. That's my choice. And so I broke it once in 2019. Right? So, anyway. Right? Right? He asked me to come there and scream at the top of my lungs. Right? And so I did that. And then I started taking the lithium, started taking the drugs. Right? And so they stole my fear with a Ouija board. Right? That I was worried about it. And so I got tested, and I was negative last year. Now I'm worried again. I'm assured it doesn't work that way. Right? It's just psychological torture, and hopefully that's true. You know, but they did a bunch of awful shit to me, and there's no other way that I could have it. Right? Oh, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Right? This is why I wrote the Pope. Right? This is why we're talking about it. Right? Because it's degenerated into palpable evil. That's it. There's nothing, right? There's nothing else. Right? So, this is the whole novel, everything is about trust, right? It's about me having regret in my heart over not giving him what he wanted. Right? But it's just, no, I made the right decision, for sure. Like, oh, he would have never done it if you gave him, what is that better? Is that better, right? Oh, the SS would have never sent the Jews to the gas chamber if Hitler wasn't in power. Is that better? Right? Right? That everything is, initiation by degrees, right? They have nothing to teach me. Right? That's right? Like, oh, you want to reduce it to some sort of like degree formula? I'm a 33rd degree Freemason there. I said it. Right? Right? Right. Check my credentials. Right? 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 He can direct me as a director. He could say, no, maybe that was a little too fast, or hey, what do you think about maybe like doing this? Right? Those are perfectly fine conversations. Right? But the fucked up occult psychic mind game? No. Right? No lesson required. Right? So, right? I guess I didn't want to be a movie star because it was right there, and I knew what to do. Right? But it's not clever, right? It's ultimately it's a violation, right? Like that's what's occurring. Right? That he violated my mind a bunch. Essentially every day. From April 17th through the screening of Jackie Brown in June. Right? Right? as much or as little as he wanted. Right? So, there's the lesser mysteries and there's the greater mysteries. Right? That everything, right, has a resolution. The lesser mysteries are the question, right? It's the boundary, right? This is the horizon of your ignorance. You'll never circumvent it. Right? And the greater mysteries is, while you might never know the full scope of the condition, you can understand the principle that allows God the Father, which is the abstract intellectual principle which causes the world to manifest, operates, and it's through love and giving. That's it. Right? 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 The truth, right? That no matter what he says, right? When the people around him ask him, if they ask about me at all, and I suspect that they do, right? The truth is that he does not expect this to persist for 20 years. No. That's right, unless he's just a sadist, right? And he's okay, like a violent guy, and like all that violence in his films, right? Right. So, what I'm saying is that he's just a sick sorcerer. That's it. That's it. If he was a cool guy, right, and grateful for everything that he had been given in life, right, then he would have produced a non-disclosure agreement, compelled me to sign it, paid me $500,000, up to $5 million, which is nothing to him. His wife is a nepotism woman, right? Her father is famous. He's in this novel, right? It's all there in those first few pages, right? A memory is its own disease, right? Right? Elementals for sorcery, right? Right? But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to tell everyone around him, no, I'm handling it, right? And they all just said, okay, Quentin, sure, right? And this is my point when I say everyone around this thing, right? They all insulate a disgusting, palpable evil because there's no other way to interpret it, right? Oh yeah, this is me getting back at him. Now he'll think twice, right? Because I think twice. Right? That's, it's a logical farce. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Right? He always wanted me to blow my brains out. He still wants me to blow my brains out. Right? And this is why I live in palpable fear. Right? Because he has engendered a pathological psychology in both of us. And I suppose I'll stop because it's over half an hour now. So, pray for me, pray for Quentin, pray to bring this to an amicable resolution, right? Life is not an accident. All instances of psychic clairvoyance and remote viewing is the mind of the adept tapping into the non-locality of the conscious field of which their conscious awareness represents a small branch on the wisdom tree, right? And so the highest levels see the adept behaving like God. You can heal the sick, right? And you can destroy someone far easier. Quentin Tarantino is a powerful clairvoyant who thinks that the dark arts are an appropriate pathway in life. Right? Right? So, uplift your soul to God. Be motivated by the right things. Love, compassion, giving. See what's good in your life. Hold those close to you dear. God bless.